So I graded was not done. I thought, oh, it's just this one group. Surely another group has 2.2.1 completely done. And then I went and looked at their 2.2.1. And another group, that group member did not have their 2.2.1 done. So I'm not trying to title some of your group members, but you really don't want me to type in what I saw when I did look. So if you don't have your 2.2.1 done, and I mean everybody in the group, because you don't know which persons I'm grading, if you don't have your 2.2.1 done, then I suggest you get that done when I get done randomly. I'm almost done randomly, which is sad. You like this voice on me. Hunter, you sit over here. Okay. And I was about to give you a point.
That's what you just hunted.
Okay, so let's talk about. I've got two things to say. Besides, you need to do 2.2.2. Ha ha ha. You have to go through number 11. I've got two things to say. One is about this math workshop question, and one is about a new symbol that will be new to you as of today. Okay. For 2 points, can you explain who is correct or is either correct on the math workshop question? 2 points. Who is correct? Please, dear. Take 3 points. Those who weren't listening to her, because there were some who weren't, Jade is correct, and she explained what Stephen did wrong. Stephen had 2a divided by h equals b1 plus b2. I'm just dropping the parentheses. He subtracted b1 from both sides, so he should have had the fraction 2a minus h, 2a divided by h, minus b1 equals b2, and for some reason he decided to put an h denominator on it. You can't just decide that you need to be part of the fraction. It doesn't work like that, so Jade is correct. Hopefully you understood what I did. If not, you realize you just took a math workshop test. There's eventually going to be a second math workshop test. If your grade on this last one is not as good as I think it should be, can only get better from here, we pray. Okay, flip to the back of your math workshop. Let's take a note for a second. We have been talking about, I guess technically it's 2 operators and 1 extra symbol that does something, and it does affect those operators. What are the 2 operators we've been discussing with truth tables? Yes, dear? And and or. You get 2 points for that. This one was and, this one was or. There was one more symbol we've been using. It's not just an operator, though. Yes, dear?
You call it a squiggle line, means negation.
Yeah, you can do it like this, or I like to do a squiggle, and it means negation, or not. So when we say it out loud, you say not this. So if I had squiggle P, it means not P, or opposite of P. So if P is true, not P is false. They're always opposites. Always opposites. Okay, so, and then what you were supposed to realize on your test, just a side note, bless you. You were supposed to realize on your test that if the negation symbol is out front and there are parentheses, it does distribute, so it does become negative P, negative Q, but it flips the sign. Instead of being an or, it becomes an and. Similarly, if you have the statement P and Q and you negate it, it ends up becoming not P, not Q, but instead of an and, it flips to an or. So negation, when you distribute it, it flips the sign. Let me say that again. Negation, when you distribute it, it flips the sign. So the V becomes the A becomes the V, the signs flip. And this is not something crazy. This actually is a rule, like the way Pythagorean theorem was a rule. And this is known as De Morgan's law. It's just a fun fact to know. I can't spell today. It makes you sound smart if you know who it's by. And bless your heart, that was 2 questions on your test. So one column was this, one column was that. They're truth tables. Since they're the same statement, their truth tables should match. Anytime we have 2 columns for the truth tables and they exactly match, the T's and the F's line up perfectly, they are called, well, there's lots of different terms for them. But basically, if they're the same, we would say they're equivalent. And there's some fancy term they put, but it means the same thing, and it's not coming to my mind. Oh, well. Okay, but this is all, you just got bonus for that. That was for free. Here's the actual part that you're paying for today. We're going to have a new symbol. It looks like an arrow, and it is very important. I can't write in that color. It's not dark enough. It is very important when you put the arrow that it points from the left one to the right one. Seriously, it can't be backwards. And what stinks even worse, the way and or look very similar, it's like which way is the V. There's another symbol we're going to learn later this week that is a double arrow. So don't add the arrow on both ends because that means something else. Okay, this symbol is for implication, or if something implies something. What does it mean if something implies something? For a point, I'll give points. What does it mean if something implies something?
You should be able to infer it.
You should be able to infer it. Or you could assume it. So I'll give 2 and 3. Anyone else got a thought on that? Implies. You can have a point. In case I didn't say this word. It was implied when I said 2 and 3 that they would get a point. Okay, can anyone think of a real-life example where something implies something?
An employee implies work.
If you're an employee, it implies you do have a job. That's true. If I have up my umbrella, what does that imply? So there's a lot of things that in life you think one implies the other. If I have a fork and a spoon, it implies I'm eating or doing something related to the kitchen, not just walking around with a fork and a spoon. But because you're at school, I'm going to make this about school rules because clearly that's where we should go. So that's where I get have a little fun. So Mr. Warming used to have these rules of the road.
Yeah.
And one of them was that you must have on shoes at all times at school. So that's the one I'm going to go with. So if you're at school, that implies you have on shoes. Or if you want to put dressed appropriately, you can, but it's more fun if we just focus on the shoes.
Are socks the same as shoes?
Yes, and with shoes we mean any sort of foot covering. Socks, any sort of foot covering. Any sort of foot covering, not dead skin. Okay, so if we're not being ridiculous with it, so and then let's back up. Let's think about the truth tables that we generically know. And has a lot of what? T's or F's? A normal truth table for and has a lot of T's or F's. A lot of F's. Get a point. A lot of F's. Because it's very hard to be both. If I say me and Eric are going to the movies, unless we both go, I'm lying to my mom. So there are a lot of scenarios where I'm lying to mom. He goes, I'm lying to mom. I go, I'm lying to mom. We both don't go, I'm lying to mom. The only time it's true is if we both go. So with an and, it's very hard to be true. With an or, it's very easy to be true. Because you can say me or Eric's going to the movies. Heck, the only option where it's false is if we both don't show. And implication reminds me a lot of an or because it's true most of the time. So let's see. So we'll make P the statement, you're at school. And don't know why the extra squiggle's there. We'll make Q the statement, you have on shoes. And so if we're going to make a truth table to consider all the options with these statements, we do our normal P, our normal Q, the normal TTFF, bless you, TFTF, bless you. And then we want to fill in this last one. The P implies Q. Okay. So you're at school implies, that's what that symbol means, implies. you're at school implies you have on shoes, because we do have a dress code and you are supposed to be dressed appropriately. So if you go to school, that implies you have on shoes. So the T is true, meaning I am at school. Q is true, meaning I do have on shoes. So if I say the sentence, you're at school implies you have on shoes, is that true in this case? Yes. Okay, you're at school, you don't have on shoes. So the sentence, you're at school implies you have on shoes, is that true?
Yes.
You're at school, you don't have on shoes.
But it implies it.
But you're at school implies you, but I don't have on shoes. So am I lying?
Yeah.
You're at school, you're supposed to have on shoes. You don't have on shoes, you're in trouble. It's a lie. So let me rephrase it, because that didn't come out as well as I wanted it to. So if you're at school, we care about you. We care about your footwear. We do. So you need to have on shoes in order for it to be true. If you're at school and you don't have on shoes, that's when we're mad. That's our one ask, because that's our one mad time. We're mad if you're at school, it was supposed to imply you had on shoes, but you rebel, you didn't wear shoes. Next thing you know, you're in ISD. So you're at school was supposed to imply you have on shoes. You didn't wear shoes, you're in trouble. Okay. Do I really care? So F being false, P being false. P is you're at school, so you're not at school. You're not at school and you have on shoes. Do I care?
No.
So it's true. You're not at school, you don't have on shoes. Again, do I care?
No.
No. I only care about your footwear when you're in front of me. I only care about your footwear when you're in front of me. So if P is false, I don't really care.
Right.
I just don't care. But if P is true, and then you're rebellious, that's the only time I care. So implication, if the first statement is false, doesn't really matter about the rest. The whole thing's true. And implication, if the first thing is true and the second thing is false, that's our only case for a false. So our only case is if what we're implying, like me holding up an umbrella implies it is raining, and then so I'm holding up an umbrella, it's not raining, you're crazy. So you get what I'm saying? It's not raining, who cares about the umbrella? But if it's not raining and you're holding up an umbrella, you're crazy. So there's only one case for false. Okay, I think it all came out wrong. Okay, 2.2.2, 1 through 11, go through this slowly. If you would like to go ahead and start that now. If you've got something